Hi Danny, how are you?
Hi, mate. I'm okay. Are you?
Yes, good mate. Glad to finally have you on. Obviously, we've been chatting for a couple of weeks, and I know work's been extremely difficult and busy time for you at the moment, but thanks for taking the time to speak to me today.
Not a problem, mate. It's nice to actually sit down for 5 minutes and actually have a bit of relax, mate.
Yeah, obviously, I saw recently on your LinkedIn that you've just had a new updated job title, so I'll ask you a little bit about that, but I think we'll start with where you're from and how you got into welding.
Okay. Well, I am from the Wirral. Most people know where that is. It's on Merseyside. It's right next to Liverpool. A lot of people from Wirral tend to say the Scousers, but they're not, mate. So yeah, I'm from the Wirral. And welding. To be honest with you, completely. I was a DJ for a lot of years, and I decided it was time to get a real job. And I've got a little boy, and clubland wasn't for me. So I went on an automotive course to go into like Jaguar Land Rover or Vauxhalls, and I've done lean manufacturing processes. Then I actually got a job for it, 2 weeks in Vauxhall on the line, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I was putting screws on airbags for car seats, and I thought, this isn't me. I've got a little bit more about me than that. And then doing a bit of research into actually what I thought I could do. I'm quite a hands-on person anyway, and obviously with music and DJing, it's a skill and it's a talent. So I thought I need to do something that's skilled. But obviously, I didn't go on an apprenticeship scheme or anything, and I was researching trades where you could do them without having a college. I mean, welding, as a lot of people know, it's mainly about talent, mate, and skill and practice. You can actually become a pretty good welder without having to have been to college. So I went on. I went to an agency in Liverpool who dealt with a company called MerseyFlex, who I work for now. And MerseyFlex basically are a hose and fittings company. They manufacture hoses for multiple industries, petrochemical, oil and gas, horticulture, agriculture, food, um, and they do pump hoses. So when I got there, my first job was to unload wagons in the yard of rubber hoses. And obviously, my looking in, when I went there, my focus was looking at the welding bay all the time and seeing the welders. The welders were completely different than the normal hose fitters in there. Welders are a little bit like royalty, mate. Because they are talented, skillful people. So I had my heart set on wanting to weld. And I mean, a lot of people don't know this story. So I started as emptying wagons. And then I was like, right, this isn't for me, lumping bloody hoses in. So then I asked Steve Carroll at the time, he was my operations manager, if I could get onto the shop floor fitting hoses. You've got to always find a way into things, you've got to be calculated. So I started to fit hoses, lay flats, and then swaging hoses. And then I moved up the ladder then and started to hydrostatically test the hoses. So I learned all about the testing the processes. And then while I was doing the testing, there was we glue valves together. So we put like a sealant on the valves, and then these are tested, and they were always leaking, always. And I thought, right, this is my chance now. These valves are basically a little bit like welded items. So all it used to be a welded flange with a screwed in item on it. So I thought, right, this is my chance to shine. So I took hold of the job of gluing. It's a bit like plumbing. So I made it my own. So I started. I was obsessed with it. I couldn't have any leaks. I screwed them all together all the time. And then when I was doing, I was looking at the welding, and then I befriended one of the welders, Adam Begley. And I asked him then. I thought, like, this is my chance. So I asked him one night. I said, look, can you show me how to weld? He's like, oh, it's hard, mate. It's hard. It's not easy. I was like, can you just show me how to weld? So I got this little hard shitty welding screen and a jacket. He gave me a jacket and I run a MIG bead down a piece of plate, and he goes to me straight away, bloody hell, lad, you've got it already. I was like, it's a bit soonish. So at the time, the owner of the company, Andy Cottrell, a good friend of mine now, I said to him, look, I want to be a welder, mate. And he's like, oh, mate, I was a welder when I was at school. It's hard, you've got no chance if you haven't been on an apprenticeship. And I was like, I want to be a welder in the company, mate, definitely. He's like, so every minute I had, mate, I would fascinate about welding. I'd go around there speaking to them all the time. And then I'd stay behind overnight and piss about on bits of plate and that while Andy was still in the office. And then me main into the welding was there was a job for 900 fittings, and he had to be glued. But then after gluing, he had the lock ring welded on them. So I was like, can I do that whole job myself? Can I do it? Can I screw them all, weld the lock rings on? And obviously the welders didn't want to be doing that shitty job anyway. So that was me in. So then when I finished the job, I said to them, look, can you employ me as a welder now? And they're like, oh, we haven't got an opportunity for a welder. And you've got no certs and all that. So I went on a night school to college myself.
How old was you then, Danny, if you don't mind me asking?
This was 3 years ago, mate. So I was 32.
32,
Uh,
okay.
so I'm a really late starter, mate. So I went to a night school. It was Louise Davis. She's actually on my LinkedIn. And it was just a MIG and TIG course. You know, you got your certificates after it. So I remember going into the office and I said, look, I'm a qualified welder now. Here's my cert. Can I have a job as a welder? But because I was always working hard in the company anyway, and I was obsessed with quality, I think it was a no-brainer for them to be on. And I've got a lot of drive. And me and the welders got on great, so they give me the opportunity to become a welder. It pissed a lot of the hose fitters off, though, mate. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
But it just kept me head down and just worked. And I remember my boss Nick, he's on here as well. I remember the first job he gave me though. I think he thought, this little prima donna him thinks he can be one of the welders. He gave me a job and it was TIG welding 2-inch stainless steel flanges. I think it was 115 of them, and what the fuck do it, mate? I remember trying to feed the wire, and I hadn't practiced TIG welding at all. Trying to feed the wire, and you know what? It was the worst thing that he ever did, because obviously me being obsessive compulsive, I went away that night, watched videos on it. Next day I was back, mate, with a vengeance. You know, tried the different technique and got it locked in, and then the rest of it's history, mate. Just loads of long days, loads of annoying people by buzzing about welding all the time, loads of failed relationships, lost friendships, and yeah, now I'm here, mate.
Well, look, at the end of the day, you took the initiative, went to night school. You know, nobody gave that to you. You went and did that yourself, so you obviously had the drive to get there eventually.
That's what it's about, mate. I'm a big advocate for passion. So if you're passionate about something, you enjoy doing it, why not make that your career? Do you know what I mean? I mean, when I left school, we were never guided towards apprenticeships. So in the school I went to, South Whittle High, it was like more of a performing arts based school. You know, they wanted everyone to be fucking Billy Elliot or fucking on the West End and all that, and it just wasn't for me. You know, a lot of it was sport, and although I played football and golf, I just, it's it just wasn't for me, all that. So yeah, if it had been guided towards an apprenticeship, looking back now, it's something I'd strongly advise people to do, especially with the skills gap in the country now, getting into welding. Because they are desirable, mate, and it's not an easy job, especially pipe welding. It's a lot harder than sticking two bits of plate together. So if it had been guided in the right direction, I'd probably done it from school. But I don't think I'd have got to where I'd have got to now if I'd have done this from school. I'd have
Oh,
probably got sacked.
exactly.
Probably got sacked from somewhere or something when I was younger, pissing around. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
yeah,
you know, and
that
considering you only started welding, what, say, 3 years ago, obviously you've come a long way since then as well. Can you tell me a little bit about, your role since you started welding?
yeah. Well, I was just a basic, like the bottom of the rung welder, production welder, day to day, just welding the flanges for the company. But my obsession is TIG welding, and obviously anyone who knows anything about TIG welding, mate, it is a skill, mate. It's not easy at all to do, especially to a high standard. And I was always, and then obviously when I started welding, then I was doing a lot of research. Then so hours and hours a day reading and watching. I mean, I think I've watched every bloody welding video on YouTube, mate, multiple times over, and like obsessing about them. So I'd learn something a night, I'd go in a day and see where I could put that into practice for my job for the day. And I was pretty fast, mate, just head down all day, churning it out, showing anybody, mate, who wanted to look at it. Fitting. I used to walk around the factory of hot fittings, showing people and look at this welding, take them in the bloody office and burn the fucking tables, putting them down, and taking photos of absolutely everything. And that's one thing I always tell my lads now: you take pictures of everything. That is because once you take a photo of something and you've got it, you're looking through it and you're like, how can I improve that next time? And then you start to see your own progress then with how good you're actually getting at it. So yeah, and then COVID hit. So I was welding with the lads, part of the team. I was always one of them. No, I'd always, if there was ever a problem, I'm straight there once to solve the problem. So if there was ever a long day to be done or a late shift. I think the longest day I ever done was 7 in the morning till 12 at night. I'll never forget Nick falling asleep on the forklift and me running across with a Red Bull. It was like 10 to 12 at night. And he's like, fucking hell, why did we say we were going to fucking do this? We got the job over the line, but it was, thinking back now, I don't want to get us in any shit, mate, but it was a pretty dangerous thing to fucking do because we were absolutely knackered. So yeah, I would always solve problems and I would always help everybody. You know, I'm one of them, mate, even though I'm in charge now, I'm still the dirtiest fella in the factory at the end of the day. And then COVID hit, and they furloughed all the welders. And it was only me and Nick left. And I think Nick kept me on because obviously I was quick, mate, and I had my head down all day. So he kept me and me welding hundreds of fucking fittings. We were doing all the hospital shit and like a Greco and other big companies. They were all talking about, the portable morgues they were building. So we were doing loads of stainless steel adapters. And then when the world started opening up again, we started bringing a few lads back off furlough. And then Nick had had enough of something or other. I mean, I don't really want to speak about it on here, to be honest, but he'd had a number of issues, and then Nick left. And then they come to me one day and went, right, you're in charge of the welding. I was like, hang on, I've only just fucking learned to weld, mate. And the lads were like, what? And he was like, he's in charge. Danny's going to run the welding. I was like, hang on, mate. Nick was a great pipe fitter and fantastic fabricator. I don't fucking know anything about pipe fitting, mate. Or how the fuck am I going to build a manifold? So that was the next step then. So I had to learn obsessively about pipe fitting, learning how to, do pattern developments and building manifolds and that. And I remember the first job I got, mate, as the boss, and it was a job for a mine. It was a manifold. And I was like, right, I've got to wing this now, pretend that I know how to fucking build this. Do you know what, mate? We actually got over the line. It was absolutely brilliant. And then it's just been about innovation for me. Researching better ways of doing things or faster ways of doing things, but keeping, and ways to maintain quality and keep the quality where it's sustainable. So we come up with ways to like sort of semi-automize a lot of stuff, and we use welding procedures for everything. Whereas they never had coded welders because I was obsessed about welding. That was the big thing for me to get the welders coded because, in our industry, mate, that means everything to the company for taking on work and for peace of mind, for jobs. Like, so then we rolled out like all the weld procedure qualification records. And then we started getting into some really big customers then, and a lot of offshore work and stuff like that. That's where a lot of the stress came from, to be honest. Like trying to run a department while being actively involved in the welding processes as well is pretty difficult, mate. Your day to day operations, and then having to actually be on the shop floor yourself is really, really tough, mate. Really tough. You're trying to get your head down, do a job, and then you're getting pulled from pillar to post. So that's where Jake came into the mix then. So obviously I'd seen Jake on LinkedIn, and I approached him about coming down, doing some upskill training with the lads because they were MIG welders, just MVQ MIG welders, the boys. Now they're properly highly skilled pipe welders. And Jake's been instrumental in teaching the lads. Obviously you've been through the Babcock's program. Jake, very knowledgeable guy. Absolutely unbelievably good welder. I mean, I thought I was one of the best about, to be honest, mate. Until I seen Jake walk in, mate. And so then we just we built the welding up. We hit the deadlines we needed, and then now I've got a new role now. So now I'm going to be the operations for the whole company. So rather than just a welder, I'll oversee all of the production. So obviously now I've got to learn about post fitting now, mate. So that's the next step for me now.
Yeah, to be fair, Danny, that's incredible. Obviously, such a quick rise as well. If you kind of was only learning to weld, say 3 years ago, and then to go from there and to just keep building and building on that every time. And it seems to be like you've used the internet or used YouTube a lot to help learn because obviously most of the things I learned through my apprenticeship would have been off the older welders or the guys around the place. But have you found other ways to help yourself learn?
Well, we didn't have that. We didn't have older. I mean, we had Nick, very very knowledgeable fella. But a lot of what I find is, and I mean, this is no disrespect to anybody. A lot of fellas don't like to teach people stuff, mate. They like to keep it for themselves, and I don't see the point in that myself. I mean, it's like, oh, it's my little secret, it's my way of doing it. But why not show your team players better ways of doing things? And that way, it makes the business, more smooth and streamlined for everybody. I mean, you've always got one guy in a workplace who'll keep everything inside for himself. You know, he's got his little fucking black book somewhere, or he's got his little fucking drawer of secret tools, and you can't fucking touch them. There's a fella in our work like that. I won't name his name actually on here, but he's like that. He's a right miserable bastard as well. So yeah, there is ways that you've got to bring people through, mate. You've got to teach them. If you learn something yourself, why not show people? Why not show people about it and be proud of you? You've come up with a solution to a problem. Why not roll it out?
No, exactly. Look, I certainly probably, especially with the apprentices, would always take a bit of time to speak to them. I would also torture them a little bit as well, like mess around, and we used to give them some shit. But also, would be more than happy to spend an hour or so time with them and help them welding because as you said, you've got to bring people through, and you have to pass some of the experience on, whether or not it's helpful to them or not, because everybody learns in different ways, and everybody learns different techniques. As you said, what works for you might not work for me. So that's the good thing about welding. There's so many different ways you can do things.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we've got apprentice, and like I said to you before, for me, it's about passion, mate. If someone shows an interest like I have, I will. I need to check myself. I will show you anything I know. If you come in though, and you don't show any interest, that isn't for me. I tend to find now I can sort of get someone. I know about somebody straight away. If they come and ask me loads of questions about welding, then they're the people that I want to work with. They're the people that I know who actually care about what we do. We are a different sort of breed welders. It is like a little club in it. We all
Yeah, it
like to
is. Like
take
I
the
feel
mick.
like welders are all quite similar as well, aren't they? I get along with most welders you meet, and most of them are a little bit, as you said, as mad as a box of frogs, I think was the words you used, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I am myself. Well, a lot of people on here will remember Ollie McCallum. Um,
Yeah.
he's just sadly passed at a young age as well. Ollie was very vocal on LinkedIn.
Yeah, he
Got him,
was, and yeah.
got himself in hot water a few times, mate.
I think it
Uh,
was Oliver worldwide #1 welder, I think. Was that his name at one point?
to be honest with you, mate, he was an absolutely fantastic welder.
Yeah.
How we actually became friends, me and Ollie was an argument. So I've got a lad called Mark who works for us, and he's a fantastic welder. And he was like me; he was obsessed with posting his stuff on LinkedIn. One thing you've got to learn about LinkedIn is you've always gonna have a critic on there, mate.
Oh yeah,
So no
definitely.
matter how good somebody like these podcasts, mate, someone's gonna have something to say about them.
Oh,
So you put a
100%.
picture
Yeah.
up of a weld, you'll always have somebody being negative. So Mark was getting a lot of stick off Ollie. I was like, right, I'm not having this, mate. Mark works for me. So I actually messaged him saying, giving him like, what's your problem, lad? You best get up here and see us. So he drove to Liverpool to see us. I just said, he's taking it to heart, Mark. Like, I can't have you saying all this online about him, mate. He's an lad, and they actually introduced each other. I introduced them both to each other, and then we all became dead good mates after that. Then, but he was a fantastic fella, mate. He made me laugh a lot. Like he used to ring me every day, moaning about something. Oh, have you got any work for me? Or one day he was absolutely full of work. Next day he was like, "Oh, I've lost that contract now. Have you got any work for me?" I was like, "Do you know what I mean?" He was all over the fucking show. But he was a great fella, mate. And that's what a lot of welders I've met. I like. Jake's the similar fella. He's a lunatic as well, mate. But absolute top fella, mate.
Yeah, sort of with Oliver, obviously I only knew of him as you said from LinkedIn most of the time. And before I started this podcast, I probably thought about it maybe 6 months before. And I wrote a list in one of my notebooks. I was jotting things down. I wrote a few different names, and Oliver was the #1 on the list of people I wanted to speak to. And I messaged
Yeah,
him 3 days before he passed away, and obviously he never read it, sadly, but he was definitely one that I thought would have been brilliant to have on. So obviously such a shame.
yeah. He would have been great to have on, mate. Really, he's got some funny stories. Let me tell you,
Seemed like
mate.
he would have been good crack, yeah. But
Yeah,
so yeah,
definitely.
tell us a little bit about your new role then, Danny. What's that going to look like?
Well, obviously operations. So I'm going to be in charge of all the production personnel now for the arms of what we do. So the welders, then the fitters, the hydrostatic testers. They'll all sort of be under my umbrella. But what I'm planning to do is I'm just going to try and instill the same sort of vision I have for welding with the hose lads. So the way I set the welding out, I mean, nobody on here has really seen a new shop yet, mate. It is fantastic the way we've set it out. And I've worked closely with a lot of people on here. I've had the guys from Kemper designing the extraction systems, and the lads from General Welding Supplies have been absolutely fantastic. And it's fully efficient, mate. The way the flow for the work flows, it's really, really efficient. You know, we can get a lot of product welded very, very quickly and to very high standards, and it sort of maintains the quality aspect of the job the way we set it out. You know, we've got independent sets set up for certain different welds we produce in a day, so there's no more flicking sets over or changing gas. It's all plumbed in, and you know the lads have got set up for flanges on certain machines, and the speeds are all set on the automated tables. So I want to work closely with the hose production manager and sort of bring these ideas I've had for welding through to hoses. I mean, it's not too far away. If you know how to set up a decent production line, you can do it sort of for anything that you're going to produce. So yeah, I've got a load of ideas. It's going to be tough over the next couple of months to sort of get my feet in, and I have to step away from the welding, which is going to be the hardest part for me. You know, I used to just love getting my hood on with the lads and getting in. There's something to be welded, come out or get it done. So the focus now is on the whole business, not just the welding aspect. But yeah, I want to sort of boost the sort of morale of you know what I mean. Obviously, I've come from the same place as these hose fitters. So if they look at me as an example like of what hard work can do, you know, I think that's a great what would you say, champion for the company. So if I you know spend a lot of time with individuals, I mean some of them I don't really know. So I want to spend a lot of the lads, find out where they see themselves going, put the best people in the best positions, and use people for you know the talents that they've got. Like you said, it's no point just putting somebody on a laborious job all day every day. Let's tap into what they actually want to do and their ideas that they've got for the company.
Exactly. Look, and it only speaks well of your company as well, because if it shows that, you know, in that amount of time, how you can go from, you know, learning to weld to becoming a welder to then sort of running the welding, you know, it just shows the guys on the shop floor that if they want more than what they're currently doing, then, you know, the company can offer that to them.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely think that's true, mate. I mean, it's a fantastic company to work for. But like I said, I've never had any different opportunities than anybody else. The opportunities are there. You've just gotta focus your brain, your mind on so actually what it is you've got to do. But you know, you're not gonna work there and become a Premier League football player. You know, you've got to
Uh-huh.
use something that we do in the business, but like make something your own. So if you're doing a job, make the job your own. You know, find a better way of doing things and share that with everybody. I mean, that's what I've always done, mate. So, and that's what I try to say to my lads. You know, you're not just people these days. They just expect to be paid for nothing. You know, everybody talks money all the time. I always say chase the skill and then the money comes in. First thing when I got my new job, everyone was asking me, "Oh, bet you're getting paid loads of money now." It's not about money. It's about doing a good job, mate.
And the thing is, look, nobody gives you anything for free, do you? Unless you get out there and actually put the graft in, nobody's going to give you more money, or nobody's going to give you a better role. You know, that's up to you to go out there and get that yourself.
Yeah, yeah, 100% agree with me. 100%. And I try and say this to everybody. You know, when you're on the shop floor in workplaces, mate, all you ever hear is people moaning, "Oh, this is a crap place to work. This is this, this is that." But you know, these aren't bad places to work. And the opportunities are out there for people. You just gotta go and hound people, mate. That's all I've ever done is just go and hound people. Can I do this, mate? Can I do that? And in the end, you just get bored and go on, go and have a go at it. And then the rest is history, mate. And yeah, that's what it's just all about. What you just said there is a good way of putting it across, mate. You know, you don't get things for free these days, mate.
No, exactly. So you said, so now moving forward, then you won't be on the tools at all. Do you think you won't be welding at all?
What I'm going to do is finish my daily work and then stay behind them in the night. Not on my own, by the way. I'll stay with another person, so I'm not working alone. I'll have a
The
little weld at night,
Firewatch,
like,
yeah.
yeah, just to keep me. Yeah, I'll have to do the fire watch. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't. It's hard to say how it's going to pan out with Vingo. You know, I've got a lot more people to look after, mate. So my focus needs to be on these people and the business. I can't have my head on a welding screen why I'm doing this, mate. It's just not the right thing to do. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I said, my focus now is on helping other people and let's tapping into the talent that we've got at the company. I don't know what off these lads want to do or where they want to go or where they see them going. So I want to give my time out to sort of push them in the right direction and say, look, I think you should go for this. I think you should go for that. I think you should do this. Where the emphasis on us now, as we work for a PLC, is a lot of training. We want to do a lot of training for team leader training and bring a lot of lads through now because a lot of us I've never had any management training, mate. So that's something now that I'm gonna have to do. You have to learn to. I can't be speaking to everybody as the welders anymore, mate. With my lads, I'm a little bit different than I would be with other people. The most intimidating thing for me now, though, is going into meetings, mate. I'm not really a big fan of sitting around tables, and I'm one of them. What's the problem? Right, this is the solution. Let's get out there and get it done. And I've always got overalls on. Do you know what I mean? So now I'm gonna have to dress a little bit smarter and speak a little bit slower and a little bit can't swear and stuff like that. So I've got a lot of changes to make myself, to be honest with you. So that's what I said. My focus is going to be on changing myself, getting the management qualifications, and and stepping away from the tools.
Okay, yeah. So obviously you spoke briefly about the apprentices earlier. Can you tell me a little bit about, how many apprentices you have as a company and sort of what you guys are doing to help them?
Yeah, we've only got one apprentice at the minute. He's on a level 4 pipe welding course with Riverside College. Jay, his name is. And yeah, it's just in terms of helping him, he does the same jobs as everybody else does. He gets the best equipment, mate. And we're a very fair company. Our company, we don't work into the death. They're very, very well looked after in terms of, their health and safety equipment, mate. Is second to none at our place. The storeroom is absolutely overflowing. People comment actually, I'm obsessed with my stores, mate. I'm obsessed with them. I like to have loads of stuff in my stores, mate. So yeah, they get the best equipment. We work. I'm good mates with Andy Knott from Off Trail, so the lads all have full RPE, and it's all service. They want for nothing if there's an issue or they need something special. I want you to be comfortable at work, so once we'll have. But we're talking now with Jay. I actually asked him what he wants to do, and he's obsessed with computers. So we're gonna look to put him on a SolidWorks course now. Because to do our drawings. But he's already had a little go on it. He's really good on it. So yeah, that's what something he wants to do. So we're going to fully support him on that. We get him a proper course and a proper computer and stuff like that, and it benefits both parties. But now in talks with my new general manager, we're looking at rolling an apprentice out a year now. So I've been on to the college again, so we're looking to take another apprentice on now, and then we're going to do that every year moving forward. So in the end, we'll have tons and tons of welders, mate.
Yeah, no, look, that's brilliant. And even if they kind of don't stay on at your place, even if they move on, that's still more welders in the industry. But certainly from what you've said, that it's a good environment. You're giving the guys the best chance to thrive and offering them opportunity. Then people will want to stay if you're offering them that. If they see other apprentices being treated right and being offered sort of extended courses, that's only going to be positive, isn't it?
I think, yeah, definitely. I mean, the one thing that I was dubious about when I first took a welder on, the apprentice was bringing, I was like, Jesus God, I'm bringing a 17-year-old lad into this place. These lads don't mess about, mate. They're
Yeah.
all hated, mate, and some of the workplace banter at times. You're like, I can't have a 17-year-old lad getting involved. And I remember walking down the car park to see his dad. I was like, look, I'm his boss, man. And he looked at me. I'm only young myself, and I was like, look, I'll look after him. But he's matured into a man. Like when I remember first meeting him, he was so shy and timid. But now he's probably the mouthiest person I've got meeting. You know what I mean? He thinks he's probably one of the lads. So yeah, that was the most scary thing for me. But my lads were fantastic, and he looked after them and brought them through. And so I've got no qualms with employing apprentices now, mate. I was really worried about it at first. Don't get me wrong, we've had all ups and downs. Me and Jay, I've been in touch with the college a few times. Things I'm not happy with, but he's only young, and for his age, he is quite an articulated, intelligent fella, mate. So I just want to now pick the best of the best every year and see what we can do with them. I mean, we're not a massive welding company, the likes of like Babcock's or Ultrad or any of the Bill Finger and stuff like that. But we will be big soon. I've got this thing in my brain with how fast it's come on now. I mean, if you'd have seen a Welding 2 years ago, it's nothing like it is anymore, mate. It's completely different now. And now we're rolling out ISO 38342, the Welding one.
Yep.
That's only going to increase our chances of taking on bigger projects, mate.
No, exactly. Look, having the welding codings and having accreditation, that is only going to help you gain bigger contracts, and then with that will be more work, and as you said, more apprentices. So, if you keep growing, obviously the way that it sounds like you have been, then probably just, where do you think that's going to take you? What is your plan?
I don't even know what my plan is, mate. I just love working there. I love the lads, and I just sort of want to build such a great environment for them to work in. Like, I want the camaraderie between the welders and the hose lads now. Like, I've always kept the welders separate, mate. I've always kept them separate. I don't allow them to get involved in anything with anybody. They stay as a very, very close knit team of people. A lot of times we've had bad depression in the past, like, oh, fucking, it's them welders again, the welders, the welders, the welders. So my focus now is to try and gel the whole teams of production staff together, so they're one complete, and who's to say that one of the hose fitters won't become a welder? If they see the opportunities and they want to progress and learn to weld, we have the procedures in place now. We've just got to get the welder calls to get them coded. But I've just took a hose fitter on as a welder now. He was similar to me. He stayed behind every night and absolutely cased me every day about welding. You know what? The minute I hear that, mate, I'm like, right, let's go, let's do it, mate, let's do it. Got him a welding screen, got him all his gear. He's absolutely incredible already. I mean, he's been posting some work on here lately. Ryan J's name is, and his work's absolutely fantastic, mate. So he's my sort of protege now. He sort of followed the same route I did. He never went to college to weld. He just started as a labourer. Now we took him away. So what's to say there's not other people in the company like that? But like I said, my sole focus isn't welding anymore now, mate. It's the whole production unit as one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all good. So how many welders in total do you currently have there?
But we've got 8 lads we weld. But one, yeah, and then there's me as well. But obviously, I won't be welding anymore. So yeah, I mean, people think that's a lot, but for the amount of work we put out, we need the levels of welders. I mean, not all of them can TIG weld properly. Yeah, like not all of them at the standard that I expect from TIG welders. So that's what Jake's here for now. So Jake's coming in June, and I'm going to put a couple of lads through more positional tests. They're going to do their heavy wall butts. And I've got a few lads who've worked there for a lot than I have, and they're like the core team who can do everything that I need them to do. So yeah, I want to look at getting the lads trained, get them all of them the same qualifications. We're going to roll out a skills matrix, you see, but I'm going to do that for the hose as well, so I'll know what level everybody's at. That way, I can select what jobs people are going to, or what training they're going to need, and it's the best way to appraise people as well. If they're coming knocking on the door asking for pay rises, they've got to be on a level to to achieve the money that they want to be paid. So that's going to be my focus now, mate. Like I said, skills matrices and trainings now, just to get everybody where we need them to be.
Yeah, and do you kind of think over the next couple of years you'll continue to take on more welders, or do you think kind of 8 is enough for now?
I think the welding is going to outgrow the building we've just got, mate.
Okay, yeah,
Personally, I
big
mean,
plans then.
yeah, they won't be happy to hear this, mate, because they asked me to future-proof it. Like, well, I should have got a bigger building, mate. I reckon. Like I said, a lot of companies in our group rely heavily on welded items. Like I said, most items go in the end. The hoses are welded, so we want to look to do all their welding work for them in the future. We've got welders in various other companies throughout the group, but this is going to be sort of like the main welding base where we weld a lot. I've just started welding for one of our companies now. They buy a lot of Bauer to flange adapters, so we've just started getting, providing labour to them, and that way it just keeps it all in group and keeps it nice and tight, and we're all helping each other, and we're all buying from each other, and we're all spending with each other. So it just strengthens our position in the market even more, mate. And obviously, as we grow, our buying power increases. So we can be very competitive with our pricings as well in the markets that we're in. Something I really want to tap into though is the oil and gas market. I mean, the big hammer unions we've got a branch in Aberdeen. Mr. Alan Turner, who's on here as well, he's our top sales guy in Aberdeen. He's been in the offshore market for years and years. Knows absolutely everything there is to know, mate, about rigs and rig supply stuff. So yeah, I want to support him a little bit more now with getting him some nice fittings up there that he can sell off the shelf. As you know, with off the offshore market, mate, it's very, very fast paced. You know, them guys want something, they want it now. And obviously, with us being located miles and miles away, it's difficult for us to be reactive to it for them companies. So we've got the stock, We just need to get the logistics sorted a little bit better. So me and Alan want to stock, NDT certified fittings with all the welder packs and everything on the shelf. So in Aberdeen, if they need a fitting, they can just go and buy it off the shelf, which nobody currently provides a service like that. I shouldn't really be saying all in here, actually. Someone will take my idea.
All right. Another thing that I've been asking everybody coming on is it a funny story you can think of? Something off the top of your head?
I've got a funny story. I've got a story. I've got to be very, very careful. Well, actually, it was in the past. This, obviously, if I've got to be very careful of how I word this and say it. But I've seen somebody blow themselves up, mate, and we seen a lad blow himself up. And when I say blow himself up, mate, you've never seen anything like it. God bless him, Marco. So what he did was he was completely in breach of anything that he should be doing, mate, and he was being lazy. And we have shopping trolleys in work, and he had a fitting in a shopping trolley, and there was an aerosol can of a paint tin in the trolley, and I seen it. This what I wasn't in charge of welding, I was just a welder, and I seen it. I took it out because everyone knows you can't have anything combustible or flammable near a welding bay, and it should be in a cosh cabinet at all times. So I took the tin of paint out, walks out the welding bay. He's pushed the trolley in, and actually I just heard this noise, and it was like, woof. What's that? Next minute I turn around, and he's standing there, mate. He had all his front of his hair was gone. He had no eyebrows. All his eyelashes had gone. His beard had gone. And he was standing there. And he didn't know what had happened to him. And I was like, what have you done? Adam comes running out and goes, he just blew himself up. So what he did was, being lazy, he didn't take the fitting out the trolley. He had to put I think it had leaked on a test. So being a young lad, he put the earth clamp on the trolley. And it was still an aerosol can underneath the fitting that we didn't see. So as he's arced, it's arced through the can and just engulfed him in a fireball. He actually had to go to hospital. He took the layer off the front of his eyes. Don't get me wrong, he got a severe warning for it, mate, but that's probably the funniest. I mean, I say funny, it could have been really, really serious. That's probably the funniest story I've got. Because some of the other stuff, mate, I couldn't really say on here. Like,
Oh, look, you didn't have to say anything that's going to get you in trouble.
You hear people gluing people's boots to floors and people putting stuff in people's sandwiches and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't find stuff like that funny. But this was funny when he set himself alight, like, and he's learned massively from it now, mate. That there's certain ways to do things, and we don't have any shopping trolleys near our welding base, mate.
No, definitely not. Obviously, it's one of those things which could be serious, but obviously looking back is so funny when you think about things like that, isn't it?
Well, we got the CCTV footage of it because the welding bay's got a camera in it, mate.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing about it. All lads sharing it on the phone with each other, and you just see this flash. It was more the fact that he was standing there smoking, and he didn't know what had happened to him. And I was like, it happened that fast. You see, it just went. But just goes to show you, mate, how dangerous it can be. Touch wood, we haven't had any. We are very, very good on our health and safety. We haven't had any accidents. A lot of places have a lot of accidents. We don't have any, really. So touch some wood, because someone probably hurt themselves this weekend.
You mentioned you're up with health and safety, so you make sure all the extraction's good and everyone has their own RP and everything like that, yeah?
Yeah. State of the art, mate. Ours, it's all fully LEV compliant. You'll have to come down and have a look at it sometime. And come and have a bit of an ease up with us and come and meet the boys. But yeah, it's a fantastic setup, mate. It really is. I mean, from what we went from, it was like a tin hut, very small and compact. Now it's spacious. The lads were telling me for a long time, we can't work fast enough effectively because you're constantly moving stuff around. It's like Krypton factor getting to your workbench. You're climbing over shit and you're trying to move it. Best thing for efficiency is your 5S. So we're we're big advocates on the 5S side of things now. We're rolling that out properly. Everything's got a place. I don't allow tools in the welding base. Mark was forever fucking having. He used to have tools everywhere. He had his own toolbox, so now the lads have Makita box with their own grinders and that. They take them out in the morning onto the shop floor and take them back at the end of the day into the stores. But we have just one shadow board for tools now. Like I always say to him, you don't need tools, mate. All you get set up. All you need to make pliers, mate, and then you're away, aren't you? So we don't grind in the welding bays. The grinding's all done in specific areas now. And then the product just goes in a basket ready to be welded. We don't, whereas we used to be grinding it and putting it together and welding it. Now it's put into a red basket in one area, every component. We use software called OGL, Profit Plus. So, the lads get a bill of materials for every job they build. And that has to be right for our stock levels. You have to use the correct lengths of pipe, the correct flanges and all that. So that's something that we're getting really on top of now, is making sure the components are right, because in the past we've had some issues of stock levels and stock not being correct. So it's all good from that aspect.
Yeah, no, sounds great. Yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to me today. Is there anything else that you'd like to say or anything you'd like to speak about?
Not really. I'd just like to say that if anyone's actually watched this properly and watched it all the way through and I haven't done anything, get into welding. I've got a good life now, and my son will have a good life from it, and I'm so glad that I did it, and I'm so thankful to the company for giving me the opportunities that I've had. And like you said, I've never had any special treatment than anybody. I've done it myself, so if I can do it, as being as mad as I am, and being a fucking DJ pissing around, playing music at fucking 30, why don't you have a go at it? I mean, the skills gap in the country is that big now. There's some massive shortage of welders with all these new nuclear contracts, and you got the big companies like Bockard's moving that increase operations and that now. Why not get into it? And you don't need an apprenticeship. It don't get me wrong, you can't just walk into a welding shop and get a job. A lot of places wouldn't look at you, but what I would say is go and get employed there. Just be a labourer, and then just offer your services. Can I stay behind tonight? Can I try? Always do more than you should do for your job description, is what I say to people. So when you're there, just help out, befriend people. Your network is critical to you. Like I say, like, LinkedIn's helped me with my career massively. The lads I've met, I've met some friends for life on LinkedIn, mate, and we all try to help each other out. We all work with each other closely. We all give each leg up. Jake's back in June for he's going to stay for the whole week, I think. So he's going to, because I won't be on the shop floor as much. Jake will, spend a lot more time closely with the lads, and he's got a nice new area a new workshop to work in now as well. It won't be standing there for 3 hours while we cook up bloody pieces for him to start welding with the lads. So mate, that's all it is. You just be passionate about what you're doing. Like you said, just help the country out by learning to weld, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Look, if somebody, somebody younger wants to get into welding, there's nothing stopping you going and signing on to one of these courses in college, and then, that can potentially lead to apprenticeships or potentially lead to getting a job somewhere. So the opportunities are there, but I just feel like we do need to try and push him more at school, because similar to what you said, it was never something that I was ever told about in school. I was just lucky enough to
No,
fall into welding, and I've always had a good life from it.
I mean, yeah. I find welders dead happy, mate. Dead happy fellas, mate. Well, I say that some of them are miserable in terms of like the way they interact with people. They won't tell you anything. And I don't like the mockery side of welding. Me, everybody's shit in somebody's eyes. Like, oh, in this, in that. I mean, I've had people saying to me about why you're so obsessed with building all this stuff for the company. It's not your company. It's not your money that you're playing with and all that. But I'll have a fantastic life now, mate. I care more than anything about the company that I work for. So why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I give them everything that I can give them? I'll go above and beyond. And like you said, just go and just make yourself available. Like kids nowadays, like I'm saying to my lad every day, you can't even peel him off the PlayStation, mate. Like, oh, I want a job as a
Yeah.
gamer, Dad. I want a job as a gamer. You're not having a job as a gamer, mate. You're going to get out there and you're going to do something with your hands, mate. Not playing on a control pad. So but when I was in school, mate, I never knew anything about this. There's two lads who I went to school with. who were welders, and both of them got expelled from school. And when they got expelled from school, they got taken on by Camel Aids. Like it was like because they were naughty in school, they do like an incentive for naughty kids where naughty kids got like an apprenticeship. Mate, done fantastic in life, mate, and they were naughty in school. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So yeah, and then I had friends who went to other schools with a grammar, and they were really big in with like the engineering college in Ellesmere Port. Is it the technical whatever college in Ellesmere Port? And they got put on apprenticeships. And they came through the ranks as well. There's one's a crane driver now. So certain schools do push people into these engineering things, but I certainly never knew anything about it when I was at school. When I was younger, I didn't even know what welding was. It turns out my granddad was a welder when he left school, but I didn't know that.
That, that's actually
So yeah,
mad
I've
because
never.
my
But
sorry, that's mad because my granddad was a welder as well, and I didn't even know until I started my original welding course, and I didn't have an apprenticeship then. I just started on like a ECITB welding course in Cardiff, and then I was just lucky enough to find an apprenticeship. So it's mad how sort of things come around, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, what's your role now? So what's your career now? What is it you actually do now?
Yeah,
Are you
so
not
up until
anymore?
yeah, so up until about last January, I did my C-SWIP 3-1 at in Port Talbot. And then I started welding inspection. So I've been doing that for about 18 months now, I think. And I'm enjoying that. It's been a bit of a change of pace from welding. Probably did 10 years of welding, mostly pipe work. Um, just fancy to change. Just thought, it has to be a little bit. I enjoy welding, but I just fancy doing something different. So I've been doing that for a while and I am enjoying it. Um, I do miss it a little bit as well sometimes. I miss this. I enjoy welding. It's no stress. Like a day goes by quick. You just screen down, enjoy yourself. But
Yeah,
yeah, no,
exactly.
it is going all right for me, and I am enjoying the change of direction. But we'll just see how things go over the next couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a very good friend of mine who's a welding inspector. He's on here, Jonathan from Axis. He's helped me a lot, mate. When we started getting into the more high integrity welding, he's salted the earth, Jonathan. But I always used to laugh at him and say, "Why are you a welding inspector? Because you can't weld."
Yeah, that's
I
what a lot of
couldn't
people
spend my
say.
Yeah, I couldn't spend my day looking at other people's welds, mate. I'd want to. Do you know what? With welders, mate, you get this thing in your brain. I see a weld, and I'm like, I want to do that better than he has. So I couldn't spend my day looking at other people's welding, mate. I do. I mean, when I go anywhere, I look at handrails and everything, mate. I'm like obsessed with it. I remember once I took my son to New Brighton Fair, and he got
Oh
a
God.
a caterpillar ride, and I wouldn't let go on it. Looked at the state of the welding on it, mate. It's like you're not going on that ride, mate, because the state of the welding on it.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah, I
think
mean,
for
I could
me,
never see myself doing C-Swift.
I kind of enjoy like the QC side of things. So I kind of like the quality control, and I like to make, I like doing all of that. I like the documentation side of things, making sure everything's right and cross-referencing and checking. So kind of enjoy that, and I kind of enjoy
Yeah,
being off the tools as well, to be honest with you. I don't miss kind of crawling around dirty areas like welding on dirty sites and all that. I certainly don't miss like working 12-hour shifts 7 days a week. So I've kind of found the right balance at the moment, and I'm living in London, and I'm working sort of 40 minutes away from home, and I'm home every night. I'm not living away, or I'm not working 7 days. So as things stand, it's just kind of the perfect balance, and hopefully it's sort of a move in the right direction.
yeah. I mean, it takes its toll on your welding, mate. It's not. I suffer terrible with my breathing sometimes, because I'm always in the hot and the cold. I've started to wear a Swiss Air now in work, because when I was in charge, obviously I haven't got my lid on all day, and I'm walking around checking the lads, and I'm in the bays, and I'm looking over the shoulder, and I'm like, I've got to look after my health here because I couldn't have a screen on all the time. And you're in some funny positions, mate, when you're doing pipe welding, mate, especially
Yeah,
positional welding. I don't know how these. I look at these American stick welders, mate, the 65-year-old pipeliners, mate, and they're upside down in a ditch, like the fit is a fiddle, mate. But yeah, for me, mate, because I've worked so excessively over the last couple of years as well, like I probably burnt out a good while ago. Uh, this new step in my career for me now, like you're off the tools now, and this is a chance for me to now, like use my brain to help the company now, and look after my health a little bit more than I have done. I mean, working till 9 o'clock at night and 10 o'clock at night, mate, is like, um, is thing. I've realised now, there's more to it than just grafting all day long. Like you can use your brain a little bit now to help them out. So that's what I'm going to do, mate.
Yeah, you definitely have to find a way to switch off, Once you leave work, you need to have something where you can go and take your mind off work, whether that's, for me, is going for a run or something that can help me. Sort of any sort of exercise helps me kind of clear my mind.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, that's what I need now, mate. I think I'm going to take golf back up again. Well, my son's heavily into football now as well, so going down the field of a night with him and kicking a ball about and stuff like that. Beats just sitting there looking at a book or sat there, obsessing about welding videos now. Yeah, you are right what you're saying. A lot of people have said that to me. I haven't listened to anyone. They're like, mate, you need to stop talking about work all the time. You need to stop texting at night talking about work and we're going to do this tomorrow. We're going to do that. We don't want to know about it every night. But
Yeah,
I always say to people as well, that's why I've come to where I've come to, me, because I have been obsessed with it. Like,
yeah.
um, so now I need to be a little bit less obsessed with it, mate. Yeah, and get myself a little bit of a hobby and get out there, enjoy the summer, really, mate.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for coming on, Danny. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, and obviously your energy and, how much effort you put into things comes across very well. And, hopefully, and by the sounds where Merseyside Flex is just going to keep growing and growing with you at the front of everything.
I hope so, mate. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, like we were talking, I was talking to somebody the other day. I mean, I've definitely got ADHD of some sort, mate. I am on it all the time. Let's do this, let's do that. But I do have the ability to concentrate on things as well. But yeah, I'm gonna bring this energy now to the whole of the company and not just concentrate on the welders anymore like I used to. Like I said, I'll just put it into trying to grow everything that we do with the whole operation, and maybe look at different things we can do as well. So thank you very very much for taking the time to speak to me as well.
Yep, no problem at all. Thank you very much, and hopefully I'll speak to you soon.
Yes, no problem. Thanks a lot, mate.
Yep, cheers,
See you
Danny.
soon.
Nice one.
Ta-ra.
Ta, buddy.